to say, are you mad at the government? No. But the fact is I don't want these generations of young men and women, they're already scarred just like the Vietnam vets. And they're already facing those type of things. Did you know that 12,000 Racquel, they come back to repo cars, foreclosed mortgages, and evictions? And before all these wars and everything, 45% of foreclosure were military related. My name is Reverend Captain de Corvée, Raven Marchand, and you know, I'm a wounded warrior. As far as, you know, my service record, it's not really important, you know. I was in from 1978 to 2006, medically retired. I received disability. I was supposed to be able to go back to my job. But see, the guys that go back to their jobs, go back to their families, go back to work, that's the ones that are gonna come back like me. Actually, if they think you got PTSD, you don't get to come back to America. They keep you over there until they know you're all right. Otherwise, they have somebody, you know, going out with his buddies drinking and, you know, end up, you know, terrorizing the neighborhood, kicking doors in. Because all of a sudden you have flashbacks, you know, when you're not there anymore. Especially if you're doing drugs or alcohol.
So you think I'm alone, but being alone's the only way to be. When you step outside, you spend life fighting for your sanity. This is a cold war, you better know what you're fighting for. This is a cold war, do you know what you're fighting for? If you wanna be free.
You see, I'm a Nazarite, you know? You know what a Nazarite is? Like Samson. I don't do any hard drugs, or I don't drink liquor, you know? I get high on life. If I want to get high, I go into the gym and pump iron. You get that natural endorphins, you know? And my kids, I get high on my kids, you know? And I miss them. You know, like I said, got the 27-year-old, the 28-year-old, the 25-year-old. I raised from about the time they were like 5 or 6, and then, you know, my 17-year-old, my 18-year-old, and my 2-year-old. I'm from Cherokee, North Carolina. My parents adopted me off the Indian reservation when I was about 2 years old. My daddy was an Assembly of God minister, and he was in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. He flew Army Air Corps, and he got exposed to, you know, asbestos. Mesothelioma is a fancy Latin term, you know, medical term for white lung. So basically your lungs fill up with fluid, and eventually you have a massive heart attack, is what we had at 70 years old. Christian College is where, you know, I took my paralegal studies. I studied computer science, business administration, you know, like COBOL, Fortran, RBT2, PO1, assembler, all that. They're pretty much obsolete. I'm getting ready to get back in school, hopefully, Lord willing, in the fall, you know. I want to go to Elon College. I tried to go to Duke, but my grade point average has dropped, you know, from a 4.0, but I'm still Phi Theta Kappa, National Honor Society, Who's American College. But you know what? I give all glory to God, the Father, and my mother and father, because you know what? The only crutch I ever had to lean on was this one right here. Alcohol and drugs, it was frowned on in my family. You know what I'm saying? My daddy, he was never had a problem with alcohol. He never beat me. He disciplined me, and I loved him for it, because you know what? I didn't spend a lifetime in prison. You know? As far as homeless, Racquel, let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house there are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you so. I'd go to prepare a place for you. And if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself. You know what Jesus said? The birds of the air have their nest, and the foxes have their holes. The Son of Man has not a place to lay his head. So was he homeless? And what about the disciples? They left their homes, their families, you know, for the gospel. And they died for the gospel, you know. And I don't know, you know, if it's a choice or not, dying for the gospel. I die for my son. And then he told me that the sister, that me being a Southern boy, you know, that I let her in before me because I thought she was trying to get in there to pay her rent, you know, without getting that late charge, said she got the last upstairs apartment. Then he told me I didn't make enough verifiable income. And they investigated because it reported to HUD. Did you know at that time, before the market crash, I'd stayed at the Comfort, you know, Hillendale, and they kept going up on my room rate because they said I didn't deserve the medical rate, okay? And I pay $50 every year for my business license, you know? Let me show you my business license and I'll probably get it for you. Oh, and you know what? Then I moved to Burlington and I get a business privilege license there. Then they tell me that's a door-to-door thing. I've had this one See? It says, let's look at that, Durham. Business license. That's the one in Burlington. Soldier Guide. City of Durham privilege license. Pedal by vehicle, pedal by cart. Now you see in Raleigh, they won't let peddlers. They've actually outlawed and made it a misdemeanor. They can't set up with 100 feet of a restaurant or a business because they don't want that element, you know. And they be thinking, well, they'd be out there peddling, and then they go and get alcohol and drugs and stuff like that. And we don't want that kind.
What do you do with your money?
Me? I pay for the website, the Soldiers of God. I buy merchandise. Or we get bands from the United States Army Ranger Association. I get specialty knives I sell at the flea market. Just the fact that I buy them, they donate to the United States Army Ranger Association because the Rangers are taking it hard. See, the regulars are the ones that are, you know, generally the 5,500, okay? Now, the Special Forces and the Rangers, the 101st Airborne, those are the guys that are coming back like me, missing arms and legs, because Special Forces is the ones that go where there's a landmine. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones that go behind enemy lines. It's not really money for me though. See, like any other, you know, CEO, CFO of any, you know, executive, you know, organization, I don't want to draw attention to myself. I don't want people, you know, I'll be out here sometimes moonwalking. I'll do, you know, crane style, because I don't want them to feel sorry for me. I want them to be aware. Okay, I'm okay, but my brothers, that's the new homeless.